about the views of Ghanaians in the diaspora about the coming election, of course, I decided I try to add a little to what my brother mentioned with respect to the exodus of young people and what the two parties are proposing as a solution. Beyond that, I'm just coming back to the question you asked. Well, when it comes to Ghanaians in the diaspora, everybody is, we are all keen on seeing the outcome of this election. For us, the most important thing is to see that the election is conducted under the atmosphere of it's conducted free and fair. And then also we particularly call on the Electoral Commission to ensure that they discharge their constitutionally mandated role without any fear or any kind of intimidation from anybody, any fear of intimidation. We particularly charge on the incumbent government, the president especially. They are in charge of all the state security apparatus to ensure that Ghana, as a country which is known as a beacon of democracy in Africa, okay, we continue to main party. Beyond that, all the other things is sort of the same thing they are all talking about. So we will only wish that the election is done successfully and that peacefully, and the loser will concede, and then the Electoral Commission will go on to declare whoever wins the election without any fear or favor. And we call on also the media particularly to be very circumspect in their reportage of the election, to make sure that everything that is put out is verified so that we can minimize or we can avoid misinformation and disinformation, because these things have the tendency to jeopardize the electoral, the peace of our country and plunge the country into chaos. So yes, in sum, we are very eager to see that the election takes place peacefully and, most importantly, transparently.
Yeah. All right then, Dr. Mubarique, thank you very much. Now I'll move to Mr. Mohammed. I would just like to give a little background. We'll be talking now about the climate, the climate issue and the environmental issue going on in Ghana. So at the just concluded COP29 in Baku, that was in Azerbaijan, Ghana launched an ambitious climate prosperity plan, which is also called the CPP. And it is the CPP. And it is a roadmap, it's in quotes, a roadmap set to address climate change while also boosting economic prosperity. Now, illegal gold mining has caused significant environmental degradation, including pollution of water bodies and deforestation. There has been protests against this and call to the government to stop this illegal gold mining situation. We know that this is something that has become higher, like it has become something of importance in the past few years with the present government. A question to Mr. Mohammed Muntaka. Oh, it seems I lost Mr. Muntaka there.
You've asked a question that is dear to my heart. And people who know me on Twitter very well know that when this Galamsey issue started, I was part of there was a Twitter handle called Tokyo. I don't want to continue the remaining. We were having Twitter spaces discussing the issue of Galamsey and all that. I spent the whole night, even sometimes contribute to support our brothers who are back home protesting the degradation and the rape of our forest and our environment. Now, just opposing that to the COP in Baku on what the president said, it's I don't know how to say it, but it is the double standard that we have in our politics nowadays. In Ghana, the president didn't utter a word not even a single word. Now, to give you some little background, up until 2016, when even or up to 2020, the number of licenses given to small-scale miners was about 100. If I remember the number quite clearly, it was about 150 thereabouts. But after the Natural Resource Land Act was amended, where the power to give licenses to small-scale mining was shifted to the presidency, we saw that, in fact, we saw that the number has ballooned to over 1,000. Most of the kingpins are people associated to this particular government. A clear example is when the reports stated clearly that there are certain companies that belong to the Ashanti regional chairman of this same party, and they were given license for prospecting, not to mine, and they went into the forest and they were mining. Now, when you look at all the water bodies in Ghana, all the water bodies, about 70 to 80% of them had changed to brown coffee. Or let me say two colors. Some of them, the colors have changed into a Turkish coffee. That is the level of pollution. The normal turbidity allowed by the United Nations, ours is about 14,000 folds. That should tell you that the water is not safe for drinking. Another thing is that a research was done by some doctors around the area of where the mining is happening. And if you see that the damage of mercury and cyanide and lead has resulted into giving birth to babies who are deformed. The baby will come with one eye, the baby will come with 3 legs, and all those things. Like they're completely deformed. This is something that is very critical to the extent that now, when people were protesting, the government apparatchiks were saying that the mining is happening in the. Now, when you do Google Map, just check the Google Map. You can just check it live and check all the rivers in Ghana as they are feeding the tributaries that are feeding the sea. All the waters are completely gone. We've lost so many hectares of forest, and this is when we signed, or the parliament passed a bill to allow the rights to give licenses to be under the presidency. So we were expecting the president to control the number of licenses that is being given out to people to go and mine. And it's unfortunate that it is during that time, after that signing of this particular, after bringing this amendment into law, that we've had more than 1,000 licenses, more than anything that suggests, even after the protest and after all the noise, they deployed some soldiers to go around the riverbanks and all those things. And I remember watching on TV that one ex-police officer was saying that all these things they were doing was a charade, and that was true. Those guys went there, took some champagnes from the river, burned them, and left. And now the miners are back on the river again. So just opposing what is happening now, to the extent that to see the absurdity, the Lands Commission, who are also part of the organizations that give licenses to miners, in some portions of Ghana, I've forgotten the city name. The city name. People are mining illegally just behind the Land Commission's building, just behind the Land Commission itself. People are mining there. So that should tell you what is happening. Now, when it comes to what the opposition is promising to do, because that is the question you asked, going through the manifesto of the opposition, it gave me some information that they want to do, because we cannot exonerate them also from mining, because they are